Welcome to our world-renowned podcast, Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray. I'm a TEDx and keynote speaker and author. Also, I'm executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money. Plus, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Our weekly show features interviews with powerhouse women founders, funders, and change makers that are sure to inspire you. Let's go. Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation, as well as executive producer on the movie Show Her the Money. Hopefully you've seen it. If not, it is currently findable on Amazon and Apple TV. So looking forward to our next guest. Her name is Bethany Crystal. She is the founder and CEO of Build First. And she says the future belongs to people who know how to build. And we're going to be talking AI today. So welcome to the show, Bethany. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. So as the founder and CEO of Build First, which of course is an AI learning lab and product studio, what you do is, from what I understand, you help individuals and teams go from idea to product utilizing AI, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent 15 years working in the tech industry, never considering myself to be a developer or an engineer. But about a year ago, I started to accidentally build apps for my own kids, and I realized if I can do this, anyone can. So now I'm turning that into a business.
I love that. I think people really want to understand how to use AI. And, with your 15 years of tech background, I see here, you've worked with startups, you've worked in venture capital, workforce development, you
Yeah.
worked Union Square Ventures, Tech NYC, and Stack Overflow. So you've got a background in this that makes you qualified to be teaching others how to build this out. And I think so many people are so curious today, how do they use AI to take an idea and make it into a product? You want to talk about that journey?
Yeah, I will say being in rooms like at USV and Stack Overflow, I'm no stranger to being around people with big ideas and systems thinking. But before about a year ago, I had never been able to see myself articulate the texture or the fabric of what it meant to build something online. So there's been a real paradigm shift in my career. And I think this is probably true for a lot of women as well, right? Where I realized that I basically spent most of my career helping other people actualize their dreams. And for the first time last year, I started to be able to ask myself the question, what does it look like if I could invent something too? And through that, I've just been learning how to think more like an engineer.
And I love that you're saying, you're doing it now, like you're the one creating, but actually you're the one who's created a business that's helping people create their dream, right? So
Yeah, it's true.
double plus.
Yeah, it's been so empowering for me to be able to just see a thought fully articulated and expressed in digital form. And the origin for me was I built an app last year when I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I spent a lot of time solo parenting on the weekends in New York City. It was cold outside. We go to museums, but my kids couldn't read yet. So we didn't have a good way of really explaining to them what to do at museums. And the kids were just vying for my attention. Well, I started to take my phone and take pictures of things at the museum and ask ChatGPT, explain this to a 4-year-old. And then my friend suggested you could actually build an app around that and include audio. So I sat down one weekend and I said, I'm going to build an app for this. I'm going to call it MuseCat. There's going to be a little meerkat narrator. And what's going to happen is you take a picture, you put in what you're looking at, and you tell your kid's age, and the kid hears the age appropriate version of that.
Oh my God,
And
that's so cool. What a great use of AI, because
yeah.
people think it's always super bad, but there's so many good usages of it. And certainly teaching 4-year-olds about museums and art is a super idea.
Yeah, it was a really powerful way for me to see a product development cycle end to end around an environment I could completely control the output of. And now I'm starting to do that with my business as well. So today I've built an entire backend operating system that powers Build First. Everything from my lead gen to my contracts to my invoicing. I didn't have to do a single line of code myself, but it's running the business with me.
Wow, that is amazing. And every business, every small business could use this, right?
I think every small business could use this. And what AI is inviting us to do is to take all those messy, uncomplicated thoughts in our brain and digitize them to have a second brain think through those problems with us. So the thing I'm starting to do with small business owners specifically is ask, where does the source of information live in your business? If it's in your head, let's practice getting that into a way computers can understand it, whether through photos or voice dictation. And then I'll teach you some basic design frameworks so that you can build logic to help you move forward and actually build applications to solve those problems.
I'd like a real more granular explanation because I think that's kind of a uh,
Yeah.
high level explanation that maybe even a lot of people don't understand. I won't say it's me, but uh, I know you help communities like Manhattan, Upper East Side, small businesses. So you go into that business, and what is one of the businesses that you've helped there? And tell me on a granular level what you help them to do with that using AI and build through it.
Yeah, so I run a block association on the Upper West Side called the Manhattan 75. And I recently reached out to a local laundromat who's been in business for 35 years. They have never had a website in 35 years. So they had to move across the street. And the way that they were able to communicate that to their community was just a flyer on the door saying, now go to this address. It wasn't even on Google. So I went over and I asked, have you ever considered building a website? And the answer was, like a lot of small business owners, yes, but I don't have time. Some family friend wanted to do it, but they don't have time. We don't have budget to afford someone else. And I said, would you like to build one right now? And what we did was we looked around the laundromat and we took pictures of receipt tape that showed the different services they offered. I took pictures of the signs in the windows about, wash and fold to dry cleaning. We took pictures of the place itself and just put in basic information. And we used a website building tool with AI and were able to walk out an hour later with a fully functioning website.
Wow. I know you said that in your overview is that you help teams and individuals go from idea to product and within an hour. Like
Within
this,
an hour.
yeah. Besides websites, what else could they do? What could they create within an hour?
Yeah, I've had friends build things like compensation calculators for onboarding decisions for different employees. I've had friends build career coach apps where they're trying to grapple with a couple of different decisions. I built my block association a volunteer management tracker during a snowstorm. We were able to pair volunteers up with people in their homes who needed help. So we just built a mini marketplace around it. Really, if you can imagine it, you can bring it on paper or digital paper.
That is so cool. So every small business should be thinking about connecting with Build First, your company, and finding out how they could take that idea, use AI, and probably within an hour or so have an end product.
Yeah, you can have the beginnings of a product, right? I'm not going to
Yeah.
promise anyone that you will learn completely
Right.
how to build
Yeah.
in an hour. I think about it more like learning how to cook. You can't teach an entire kitchen in just one recipe, but
Right.
every time you make something new, you learn a little bit more about the tools out there. So I invite everyone to think about their own journey with building in the same way.
I love that. Now it says you recently vibe coded mini apps.
Hmm.
What exactly does that mean?
Yeah. Have you ever vibe coded?
No, I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know what it is. You're going to have to explain it to me and
Yeah.
thus my audience.
There is a growing cottage trend that is actually very, very popular right now, where you can go to a website and just type what you want to exist in words, and the website will build you another website on the spot. So
Wow.
if you wanted to make an Invest in Her podcast new website, and you could just upload maybe your images or your bio, your about your podcast, and describe it really clearly, you could actually create one in minutes.
Wow.
Um, and getting these V1s is this magical, powerful experience, but often I find people get stuck because you need other dependencies. It takes a lot more than just a nice front end to build a working system. So I like to teach people a design thinking framework that helps you get started sort of one layer at a time, just like building a house.
I think a lot of people want to create their own apps.
Yes.
So this is something that Build First could help them do.
Yeah, there's really like three steps to building. One is the context. What is the information you already have that you want the AI to better understand with you? The second is the logic. What is the decision you want the AI to do or the action that you want it to take? And then the third is the interface. How do you want to interact with it? You could build a chatbot, you could build a website, you could build a dashboard, you could build an app. So once you sort of start to think about it like that, it kind of constrains the problem, and then you just kind of keep adding on more and more.
So someone could be thinking, "Oh, I have a great idea for an app, but I don't know how to build it."
Yeah,
First can help them determine how to make that come to a reality.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, oh, I love that. It looks like you did another app called, is it Scribblings?
Scribblings, yeah, that was
Oh,
another
what
one I
is
built with
that?
my kids in mind. It's
Yeah.
a it's a way to take a picture of maybe your kid's art and have your kid talk back with the AI through a real-time voice app. And the AI will add enhancements to the picture, add more to the drawing, and then you can actually order stickers to print as a result of it.
Oh my God, that's fascinating. So you could have your kid do some art, which we have a
Yep.
really talented grandson. He could be drawing art, and then they use Scribblings to enhance it and
Yeah, like maybe add like a buddy, add a sidekick, put the art in a different magical place, change the
do you think
colors, that kind of
this
thing.
do like children's books?
There's not a lot of like restrictions to it. So really it's just like your iPhone camera or your Android camera. You could take a picture of whatever you're looking at. I've turned even pictures of myself into these like digitized AI powered things. I think the real goal is to start thinking of AI as a creative companion, not just this like static interface.
Right. So more than just, it seems like the majority of people just talk into their phone. Hey, chat GPT, um, how many women opened businesses last year, let's say.
Yeah.
And so there's so much more we can use it for, but people are afraid. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what to use it for. They have an idea, but they don't know, So tell me about Build First. If people contact you, and by the way, what is your website?
Yeah, so we're just buildfirst.ai and we work with companies. So we'll run company specific deep dive workshops, company-wide hackathons. My passion is also to work with other solo operators and builders and small business owners like myself. And I think that there's a lot of potential in the technology. And sometimes we really just need someone to sit with you and sort of guide you through those first few steps and then give yourself a little bit more technological agency to keep going on your own.
Yeah. So you've been in tech and worked with startups and venture capital for, 15 years.
Yeah.
How did you become so prolific in AI?
I think after 15 years of feeling like a sort of side quest character in this industry, I really saw an opportunity with AI to insert myself into the narrative in a different way. And when I realized that the new language of programming is words, not computer code, as a classically trained journalist, I finally felt like I could participate there. And I've just found it so empowering. And now that's really what I'm trying to give back to others too.
I love that because we need more women in
I
AI,
know we don't
and
have enough.
we do not have enough. And it's just so important that we have a presence there because even in who's programming that AI, uh, who are the people programming it? Because it needs all type of genders giving input into that system that's spitting out all of this information, right? Uh,
Yeah.
the things I found interesting about, the difference between maybe Chat GPT, OpenAI, and Claude. I love the fact that Claude Anthropic has, a woman that heads up their tech. And so they do have a women's perspective, in their AI technology. And that's really important. So Most of my listeners are women, and women, we want you to be very adept at AI. And so if you're not, reach out to buildfirst.ai. Talk to Bethany Crystal. She'll help you with take your idea and turn it into a product or an app or whatever it is you have in mind. Bethany, I'm so glad you're in this space doing this to help other people utilize this to help grow their business. And like you said, make their dream a reality. What a cool business you've started.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And I take it everybody can find you on LinkedIn.
I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay. And it's Bethany and then Crystal, CRST.
Crystal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Bethany and then Crystal, Crystal. So you can find her on LinkedIn. Of course, you can find me, Catherine Gray, Catherine with a C, Gray with an A on LinkedIn as well. And be sure to visit our websites. If you haven't seen our movie, it's showherthemoneymovie.com. It's about investing in women entrepreneurs. And also, we have a lot of resources at sheangelinvestors.com. So check us out. Check out buildfirst.ai and make it a great week, everybody. Thanks so much, Bethany.